Yeah, hi Aditya.
Hi.
Hi everyone. Sure.
Welcome, Archana. It's indeed great to have you sharing your experiences as a banker and very, very important subject of fintech. Fintech is the story of the century, right? It is the story of the decade, which has just begun. And market caps of fintech companies are expected to multiply. So let's do a deep dive. Big series indeed. This series will continue throughout the century. And let's have the what are the practical issues, which are the companies, what are the expectations.
Yeah. Thank you, Manoj. Um welcome everyone. I've tried to cover a drop in this ocean of the fintech landscape. The fintech landscape is very vast, and what I'll be covering is the fintech landscape from 2010 onwards till date, and secondly, I'll be covering the evolution of the payment systems. Before I start, I just want to give a disclaimer that these are my personal views and the views do not represent the views of my organization. Yeah. So to start with, fintech is a very exciting topic, and it's a very in topic. So to start with, I would like to explain what exactly is fintech. So fintech is financial.
Actually, your voice is a bit low. Can I request you please keep the mic a bit closer?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's a bit better.
Okay.
Still.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what exactly is fintech? So, fintech is essentially a financial technology companies which use financial services as well as technology. So, technology can be like software or cloud or any other technology. So, why the question is why fintech? Like, so in the here there are two things. So, India has a large unbanked population, and second, there are lots of SMEs and MSMEs which require fintech solutions. So it is the Indian market which attracts investors towards fintech. So why exactly fintech is one is the unbanked population and the huge market in India. The third thing is what is the future of fintech in India, or where are we going and where did we come from? So to start with, the fintechs, when they started on their own and as separate entities and started offering products to customers. And as they evolved, they realized that they have to merge in the existing landscape. And now they are looking more towards collaboration with banks. Okay. So there are lots of new banks which have come in. So how the existing framework and the new framework is going to work is so banks, if you see any banking app as such, you will see a menu based approach in banks. So you will have in any typical banking app, you will have the savings, you will have fixed deposits, you have loans, credit cards. So where does it come from? So when banks started their apps, they wanted to migrate the customers from the bank branches to the bank apps. And therefore, in any branch, if you go, you will see separate departments or the separate counters over there for the current account, savings account, or credit cards, loans. And it is this migration from these separate branch counters to the banking app. And now the customers are very mobile savvy, and when you see they are usually driven by apps like say Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon, Flipkart. And when they start using these apps, their expectation grows from what the existing offerings is to these kind of apps. So typically what they do in these apps is they will want that it should suggest what it should do. Like Amazon will suggest that, okay, yeah, I have Okay, so these are the banking apps typically are menu driven, whereas the fintechs or the technology companies, they have much better apps. Let's say Amazon, it will, when you buy something, it will suggest that other users who brought this item also brought XYZ. Also, they also purchased this. So this is where the fintechs are moving. So it is not that the banks are not having good offerings, but it's that the consumer wants more. The consumer behavior is actually moving. So in this first slide, I have tried to cover the fintech landscape 2021. So where we are moving. So till 2010 was the inception stage. So in this stage, it was usually the setup stage. Like in 2008, NPCI was set up. Paytm started its operations, Freecharge, Pine Labs, and all of them came into the move. From 2011 onwards to 2014, the payments industry developed immensely, and volumes started surging in between this period. So 2015 onwards to 2018, again, UPI came in 2016, and there was a huge increase in volume, and also the fintechs. In this period, also the wallets, they had to suffer a setback, because obviously the wallets were not allowed to use the UPI system. And now in 2019 onwards, we have moved to the India stack. So in this India stack is nothing, it's but an interaction between the entrepreneurs and the fintechs, the consumers, and it has capability of mining huge data. Okay, so this is how the fintech landscape is. Uh, I would just like to mention three global fintechs over here, uh, which started operations way before 2010. So one is PayPal. So PayPal was started by Elon Musk, and it has a market capitalization of 113 billion almost. And second is Alibaba, which is the Chinese fintech, and it has also diverged into Alipay. And Alibaba itself boasts of about 520 million users. Uh, so these are the two main fintechs, and then another fintech is Fiserv in the card industry. So in 2019 there was a merger between Fiserv and First Data, and it created a 22 billion industry. So these are the three major uh, fintechs globally. Uh, yeah, Aditya, can we move to the next slide? So here I am covering the fintech for the evolving payment landscape. Okay. So this here I'm showing the horizon for the payment landscape. So in between you can see the arrows, okay. The sky blue color arrows. So they are showing. So there are four arrows. One is pay, fast pay, easy pay, and invisible pay. So, what exactly is this chart about? I'll tell you. It is about what the customer expect and what the service provider provides. Okay. So these blue arrows typically it shows what the customer expects, okay. And this is entirely shown over the realm of both retail and wholesale B2B customers. And if you see the second inner circle, that is abide on from top, second circle, abide, adopt, and adapt. Okay, this is what the service providers are offering. Okay, now going to the first arrow. So pay, the first arrow of pay, it typically denotes a conventional and a traditional form of payment which used to be there. Okay? Maybe checks or ACH or direct debit. Okay? From that, the customer's expectations developed, and we move to fast pay. Now, what fast pay offers is quicker account transfers, quicker confirmations of the payments. From fast pay, again, we moved to easy pay, wherein it became very simple and convenient for the customers to make the payments using authentications and authorizations, which were very simple, say QR payments, or remote deposit capture, or 3D secure payments, or contactless payments. And from easy pay, the last arrow shows invisible pay, which is more of an aspirational mode where everyone wants to move. Invisible pay is something in which there is minimum customer involvement, and yet there is seamless authentication, and the transactions also are very secure. So this is where the customers are moving, and in order to transform to this invisible pay, the service providers also have to change their service offerings. So the service offerings also, they change from the earlier cards to the QR payment system, contactless payments, and then to more of seamless integration with the apps, and easy availability and authentication to the customers. So these are the stages of abide, which is the traditional system of payment. Then adopt, wherein they try and use, service providers use more and more technology. And third is adapt, that is, here they want to meet the aspirations of the customers of invisible pay, and here they try to abide by that. So this is what about the evolving payment landscape. Next, we move to the next slide. I just want to display the irony of the situation of payments and fintech over here. Well, when we were educated, we moved from thumb impression to signatures. And the irony of the situation is now we are trying to make our lives more simple by moving from signatures to the thumbprints back again, wherein easy authentication can be done. So here we are moving to digitalization. And I have covered just a drop in the ocean of fintech. Moving to the next slide, I would like to end my presentation with a small quote by Charles Darwin. So it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent ones. So it is the one that is most adaptable to change. So in this area of fintech, in future, what we are looking at, banking is required, but no, banks may not be required. It may be as well the tech companies who partner with the banks, or the way it evolves the tech by themselves, they go into the field and start some digital banks. So this is where we are moving to. Yeah, so this is my presentation. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Manojji.
Thanks, Archana. That was really good.
Great work, Archana. Really wonderful. Expecting much more from you on the world of fintech. Such wonderful insights. Super.